Okay. Hopefully this works now. So I tried doing this once, uh, and it didn't record sound because OBS decided that it's not going to pick up my microphone. So here we are at Enigma's IL-2 event. Um, and I'll be showing you how to do level bombing with uh, the G4M1 and with the B17. It's done exactly the same in both of those, but instead of trying to bomb moving targets, we're going to bomb the enemy airbase. So I'm going to start left engine, I'm going to start the right engine, select engine 1, select engine 2, and so on. Hopefully you know the basics of how to control the aircraft. I'll be hoping for that. So, what you'll need to set up in controls is gun sight and bomb sight controls. This includes toggle sight mode, um, that will engage the bomb sight once you've set up everything. It will start moving, you'll see that. Increase sight distance and decrease sight distance is just moving the scope forward and backwards. Like it's pivoting around an axis, and you can look in front of yourself or underneath yourself. And adjust sight control to right and left. It's just pivoting it left to right, left and right. Increase and decrease sight altitude is for the actual fire control inside the bomb sight, where it figures out the moment to drop from these numbers, from the altitude and from the velocity. It will also, like, once you engage the bomb sight automation, it will start sliding, and then drop at the right moment. And what you need to do is basically make sure that as the bomb sight is sliding, it stays on the target. So now we're going to taxi. And yeah, be a bit gentle with the brake, so you're going to tip over. And do not worry, you are not going to run out of brake pressure just because you brake too much. Good habit to get into is just find a couple people and fly in groups. It is important if you want to do torpedo runs against the incoming fleets. So there is a Japanese fleet that's going to bombard the Henderson Field, and there's the aircraft carrier fleets. So against those, you really want a group of people coordinated. Like 8 people is not enough. Let's put it that way. Or at least that would be a minimum. I'm going to throttle up. Come on. And hold the rudder steady. Just the tiniest bit of back stick pressure and she comes up almost on her own. And now I just start climbing to altitude. So now the navigation part. I can see I've taken off from here, and I'm not sure if they're going to keep the icon on the map of your own position. So in case you want to find your way to Henderson Field, which we're bombing today, well, first of all, you could use a compass and just measure the angle. If you're too lazy for that, hold on, we're overheating. So I'm going to just throttle back a little bit. Throttle back, drop the RPM, and open the radiator. What you can do is, if you go to controls, in the miscellaneous section, you have the where is it? Next beacon, previous beacon. So I return to mission, hold on. So next beacon, previous beacon, and just cycle until you get radio Honolulu. The radio navigation B-17 is a bit different, so keep that in mind. And because the needle on this instrument is to the right, I will turn to the left. And as you can see, it's slowly, very slowly dropping back to the center. Okay, and I level out. Give it some right rudder trim so that the ball is centered. And continue flying for God knows how long until I'm over the islands at some decent altitude. Personally, I don't even have like a proper climb schedule, but if you want a good and steady climb, just climb at like 5 meters a second. So, uh, instruments in the Betty. Left top is your speed in knots. Next is your slip ball and turn indicator. Next is your variometer in meters per second. Next is your altimeter in kilometers. That's bottom left. Your compass in the bottom middle, and your artificial horizon on the bottom right. And then you have others like air temperature, flaps, fuel gauge, and so on. So we can already see Guadalcanal. And Sherman's in the Avenger. No threat to us. Now, these two gauges, like half of them is gray, half of them is red. That's your hold on, I'm rolling again. That's your boost indicator. So if I switch to supercharger, you can see that it jumped up. That's because we're at an altitude where the first gear of the supercharger is no longer efficient, so I need to switch to the second gear. We gain a little bit more power. And with that, we're going to be just a little bit faster. And run less chance of being intercepted. Oh yeah. If you open your tab menu for communication, so just press tab. On the top right, it will tell you information for dropping the bombs, like minimum altitude and the sort of delay you have chosen. I have chosen a basic impact fuse, which means I need to be at least 66 meters high for a level drop. Now for dive bombing, if you're doing dive bombing, you cannot rely on that altitude. You need to release the bombs way earlier. So if it says, let's say, 200 meters for arming altitude, think of like 600, 700. Again, keep that needle centered to find your way to Henderson Field. Okay, that there of the left wing is the Salo Island, and right ahead of us is where the American airfields are. So I'm going to slide a little bit left, and I think we will hit the ships. So at this point, I will engage the level stabilizer, go to the cockpit, make sure there's no side slip. The altitude should be almost 4 kilometers, so let's set that to our bump site with the increase altitude key. Okay, it's a little bit too much, so decrease it a little bit. We'll set the speed, which should be 280 indicated, so find your true airspeed charts and convert it. I'm gonna say it's like 380. You don't really need an accurate speed reading in this. I'm going to switch to the bump site, increase distance, slow it over target, and I see that I'm slipping to the right. So I'm just going to push the bump site to the right. This should be about the amount that I'm slipping. Actually, we're in a slight side slip. I'm just going to trim a little bit left. Really, keep that ball centered. Go back to the bump site. Now we're slipping a little bit left. Let me see, just a control point. This will work. And we will bomb just some random thing on the airfield. Go back to cockpit. Trim a little bit more left. Really keep that ball centered. It's like your bread and butter. Okay, now flipping left. Okay. Just disengage the stabilizer. Little bit of rudder. And I already see what we're going to bomb. These trucks that are parked over here. Okay, now put the cross over the target, like right in front of it, and hit the bomb site automation. It starts slipping towards you, so decrease the speed. Trim just a little bit. I'm gonna... No, those are not trucks, those are fuel tanks. We'll need something else quickly. I mean, there's something. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna disengage the automation. Play with the trim a little bit. And automation now. No. Automation now. Open the bomb bay. Trim it so it doesn't move anywhere. Increase the side speed. Maybe a little bit more. Oh. And the AA has gotten me. So let me just... Yeah, that's it.